So, yes, you read the title right, and yes, it is true. I have been homeless for almost 7 months now. Let's get into it. So, you're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. I'm sure you have questions. I had questions. But honestly, no, let's just get into it. So, I have been living in my car since Christmas Day of 2022. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about. It's been interesting, and I've been like scared to make this video for the longest time because I've just been kind of worried about what people might think. I feel like there's a lot of stigma behind people who live in their cars who don't have homes. But it's such a big part of my life, and I hate that I felt like I've need to lie about it to people for so long, and so I'm finally making a video about it. So I think a great place to start is February of 2020. I had just moved back to Virginia after living in Florida for 4 years, and very rapidly things started going downhill for me in Virginia. We won't get too deep into that because we don't want to turn this into a therapy session. But yeah, things just shortly after moving there just didn't go well for me. Like, I want to say in between probably July and October of 2020, I was just in this space where staying in Virginia was really hurting me. Like, I couldn't tell you how many times you could probably find me like screaming and crying in my car just because of everything going on. I was hurting so much and I didn't know how to handle it. And I knew I couldn't stay in Roanoke, but I was kind of afraid to move back to Florida just because of like I didn't know how I'd feel there. I mean, something drove me to leave there in the first place. And I want to say around this time later, like I want to say like mid to late October is when I started to I got the inspiration from a song called Maine to move to Maine. And I don't know what it is about it, but my soul just kind of latched on to the idea of moving there. And so probably mid-November, I got in my head that that's what I was going to do. I started working every day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I was doing food delivery at the time, and I focused all of my brain power and all of my all my finances into that. And yeah, I started applying for jobs, and I want to say probably at the very end of November is when I found out that I had gotten a job position. And so all that was left for me to do was actually get myself to Maine. And yeah, I told them that I could start sooner than I probably should have, but I was worried that if I told them I wouldn't be able to start till the following year, that no job was going to hire me. So I really gave myself like 3 weeks to move to a state that I'd never been before, that I knew nobody in, that I didn't really have the money to get to. There was, I want to say like 2 weeks prior to my move that I was in talks to get a place with somebody and I had things lined up. But as we got closer to the moving date, I just realized that it's just something that wasn't going to work. Things just weren't lining up for that to be able to work. And that was when I started to look into how to live in your car. Because, again, I was dead set on getting to Maine. It's what I wanted. And I was going to make that work. And so I started researching how to live in my car. And yeah, I buckled down and that's what I did. Yeah, I believe it was December 20th is when I got my car serviced. Make sure she was all good for the trip. December 21st, I drove down to Florida to give Pineapple, my cat, back to my mom because she can't live in the car with me. I don't want her to live that kind of life. And that's probably like been the hardest part about this is I really miss Pineapple. She's my baby. But yeah, I got back. I left, so I arrived there. I believe either the 22nd or on the 21st. It was about a 12-hour drive. I can't remember the dates at this point, but I only spent a day there. I got there, dropped Pineapple off. I stayed overnight, and then I left the following day and went back to Virginia. Got a U-Haul on Christmas Eve, loaded it up, and then Christmas Day, I left for Maine. And I also arrived in Christmas Day. On Christmas? I arrived there on Christmas. I left on Christmas and arrived on Christmas Day. I didn't get into Portland until the 26th, but I got into Maine on Christmas. So I guess that was my gift to myself. And yeah, getting into Maine, like I said, I arrived in Portland on the 26th. I spent most of that day just unloading my U-Haul. I actually had a little U-Haul trailer. It was a 4x8 that I was pulling on the back of my little 2017 Hyundai Elantra. I spent all day just unloading that into my storage unit, and then I spent the rest of the day kind of exploring Westbrook and just kind of figuring out, like, okay, where can I park to sleep? I was organizing my car to see how I was gonna sleep in my car and live in my car. And I actually did like a little scope out of my job at the time, but that's how I spent the day before. So the 26th of December, and then the 27th is when I started my first day of work. And so now we're gonna like fast forward into probably March of 2023, March of this year. And at the time, my daily routine looked like this: waking up, in my car, brushing my teeth, changing, basically doing anything that you would do to get ready in your normal life, get ready for work. I would do that in my car. I would go to work, and then when I got off work, I would go to Panera Bread, because Panera Bread is the only place that at this time in the winter of Maine would stay open till 9, that it was kind of like socially acceptable, just kind of sit there, use the Wi-Fi, be on your laptop. Sure, it's not the only place, but it was the closest place to me, and I got comfortable going there. So I'd go to Panera until they closed around 9, and then I'd go to the gym and shower, and then I would find a place to sleep and rinse and repeat. And I can't tell you just like how much after a few months of living like that routine just started to drive me insane. And that gets to where we are now, which is my office. Yeah, I really needed a change, and with my office, it's nice because I was able to get all of my clothes, all of my shoes, all of my hygiene stuff. I was able to get all of that out of my car and into a space. I have my own space to be in and be myself. I have internet. I was able to set up my computer. I even have like a little mini kitchen area going on, and this is just somewhere where I can like relax, wind down without having to do it in a coffee shop, and just be myself. I have my own bathroom. Oh my goodness, I can't stress how nice that is. And though I don't live here because that would violate my lease terms, it's just I can't explain how nice and just how much it feels like things have been lifted off my shoulders to have a place like this to come home to after work. And yeah, it's just hard to explain. I don't know, but I can tell you I will take getting this place and having to wait a little bit longer to get a home than just living in my car every day and being able to afford a home a little bit sooner. You're probably asking like, why did I get an office instead of like a room to rent or an apartment on its own? And that is because this place is probably 3 or 4, maybe even more times cheaper than even rooms to rent around here. The housing market here in Portland and her surrounding cities and across the country it's just really bad right now. And with the tourism that's happening here, it's just getting anywhere. It's just really awful right now. And so having this little bit of comfort is I'll take it any day. And full transparency, like the reason why I've ended up in this situation anyways, not being able to afford a home, afford an apartment, room to rent, anything like that, is because when I originally moved back to Virginia, I just kind of screwed myself over financially. I quit the job that I had because it just wasn't working out for me, and I supplemented it with stuff that just wasn't getting me even close to what I was making, and so it just set me behind a lot. And even now, over a year later, I'm still just trying to recover from that, and so that's kind of why I'm in this situation / the housing market. So I don't know, but I'm so much more comfortable being where I am now than how I was living in my car. And even then, coming here and being homeless, I'm in a better mental space than I was when I had a home that I was living in for free. And I'm so thankful to those who were allowing me to do that and kind of figure out what I wanted to do. But them aside, I just had so much going on that I was in such a bad headspace. And before we end the video, I just kind of want to leave on 2 last notes really quick. The first one being, anybody that I have lied to about my living situation, Only a handful, I mean a very small handful of people even know that I do live like this. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just I can't explain like how embarrassed and how embarrassed I felt, telling people, and how scary it has been to tell people. I felt embarrassed about it. I feel like there's always been like a little stigma behind people that live this way, and it's just scared me, and it's scared like I'm just worried about the opinion that people would have of me if they found out that I lived like this. Especially those of you that I know have cared about me and know that I had a choice and have had choices to be in a different situation that I don't think would quite understand why I'm doing this in the first place. So yeah, but that's why I'm making this video. I'm tired of lying about it. I don't want to. And so this is just kind of my blanket. Look, I live in my car. I don't have a home. It's just the way it is. So, but I am sorry, and I want you to know that I haven't enjoyed not being honest about it. But I just felt like I couldn't tell you at the time. But this is me telling you now, and I hope you understand. And for the last note, I just want to say to anybody who might feel bad or be concerned, please don't. Like, I'm okay, and I can't tell you just like how, like, at the end of the day, this is 100% my choice. I could have not moved here and have been okay. I could move back to Florida if I wanted to. I have friends and family. I have places that I could go, not in Maine, to not have to live this way. But I really want to be in Maine. So this is something that I chose. It's something that I still choose every day, and I have the option to choose otherwise. And I'm not suffering, so I don't want anybody feeling bad. I don't want anyone being concerned, because every time that I tell people this, it's just concern, and I understand it, but I want you to know that, like, I'm so okay, and I'm happy. So, and I'm not going to be living like this forever. That my goal is still... Is it bad that the main reason why I want a place is so I can have my cat back? Like, that's the first thing that pops into my mind. I don't think that's bad. But that's still 100% the goal, sooner rather than later. Now that, I have this space, this was just so I didn't lose my mind. But now my focus is still getting a place. Because I miss having a place, not having to shower at a gym is nice. Having my baby, my cat, is nice. So not sleeping in your car, in a bed. Yeah, I forgot to mention that one. But I'm okay. And if you made it this far into the video in the first place, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm going to try to make more videos. I do want to talk about how living in my car has been, and how that's gotten on in the first place, and how I do it. Just a short little video about that and other stuff. But yeah, we have officially arrived at the end of the video. I guess like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to message me or leave them in the comment section. I will definitely get back to them, I promise. And if you're not following me on Twitch yet and you like watching video games, you should totally go follow me on Twitch at SavvySavian. But yeah, I think we're at the end now. So I really do appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.